Hello Oldhammerers, and welcome to the first battle report with the Undead and the Norse. As you can see, these are the starting positions that we're going to go with. The Norse have deployed, archers to the middle, and Bondi to their right, Norse dwarves to their right, and at the end of the line at the other end is the general with the Huskarls armed with spears, light armour and shield. Now the Undead, who have the first turn, they have lined up ready to go. I've rolled magic points, for those that don't know, for 3rd edition. Your wizard's got a certain amount of magic points at the start of the game, and if you were counted as a level 1, which was like a minor hero, which was like level 5 and level 10, they were automatically given 10 magic points, but you could roll to see if you got a randomly generated amount. Now, I did roll that, which was 3d6, and if they rolled more than 10, then I went with that. If they rolled under 10, I stuck with 10, so that way they could have a few magic points on average. The only one that rolled more than 10 on 3d6, on three six-sided dice, was the Harvester. He rolled a 12. So he's got 12 magic points, and I'll let you know how magic and everything works during the battle report for 3rd edition. But what I've decided to do is like a roundup of each turn. So that way I can film it, put it onto the camera thing to upload it, and then get it going. So I think that's the easiest way to do it, seeing as how I'm doing it by myself. And that way you get a roundup that maybe will go for an hour and a bit instead of a 12-hour epic of just recording every little roll. When they get to hand-to-hand combat, the troops and that, and shooting and stuff like that, if I feel like it's going to be a good turning point in the battle, then yeah, I'll show those dice rolls, and that lets me also show you guys how like hand-to-hand combat and everything worked in 3rd edition. So we'll get underway. I've got a dice tower here, some different coloured dice for like heroes and just troops, and also like different sorts of dice like D8, D4, D10, 20-sided. 20-sided's mainly for like artillery and things like that, so won't really see that this battle report, but there might be some spells that use different sort of dice, which was pretty prevalent back in 3rd edition. So I've got my rulebook out ready to rock and roll. I've got 2 copies of Warhammer Armies with the summaries and references in there. I've printed off another one. I've got the army lists and everything ready to rock and roll. So yeah, this is Undead turn 1. So looking forward to this. Excellent. Alright, so turn 1 for the Undead. Pretty much a basic turn, so the movement phase, which is first in Fantasy Battle 3rd edition, they just moved forward 3.5 inches. Now, in 3rd edition, you move depending on how much armour and equipment that you have. So the Grim Reapers with their champion only moved 3.5. Now the Grim Reapers don't have any armor or anything. It's the champion that has armor that's slowing him down by 1/2 inch. So the rest of the unit has to abide by his movement. Same for the warriors with the Harvester. They're moving at 3.5 inches. The Harvester has no armor. That's why he's in such a big unit, to give him a bit of protection from missile fire and such. But they have light armor and shield, which gives a 1/2 inch movement penalty. Now for the spearmen undead spearmen, I suppose. They're the same. They have light armor and shield, so they're rocking out at a half an inch movement penalty. So next on the agenda was the shooting phase. The undead only have pistols, and it's only their champions, so they're out of range at the moment because it's only 6 inches in third edition for pistols. But if they get a shot off, then I'll explain all that. After that is the good old hand-to-hand combat phase. Now, we've had no charges or anything, so that's all fine. Next is the reserve movement phase. So in third edition, unlike fourth edition, I think they started using marching moves and everything like that. So that was when that all came about. So they started allowing march moves and that. For third edition, however, your army got an extra movement phase. You could, so long as you didn't approach within 4 inches of an enemy unit. Committed units couldn't reserve move as well. So like units, if you're divided by an obstacle, say you're crossing a wall or something like that, then no, you weren't allowed. Or models in difficult ground, so like in forests and things like that, they weren't allowed a reserve move either. So if you're in hand-to-hand combat, you didn't get a reserve move. If you were within 4 inches of friendly or rounding troops, you didn't get a reserve move. There was flying creatures, actually. They didn't get a reserve move at all either. And large like war machines, things like that, they didn't get it as well. So that brings us on to the magic phase, and I'll just explain a little bit about magic really quickly for third edition. So at the start of the battle, every wizard is given a magic points allocation. So the Harvester has 12, and his offsider, Joseph Shieldman. No, it's not Joseph Shieldman, it's Nullius Livid. He's level 5, so he has 10 magic points. So if you wanted to cast a spell, what you do is you pre-rolled spells like we did, and each spell would tell you how many magic points that they'd cost. Now, if you had more than 12 magic points, then that spell was cast automatically, and it took effect. Depending on what the spell was, if it was targeted at another unit. If it was a fireball, then off it'd go and hit into the unit. If it was a spell like lead breaking or something like that, where it was actually had a magical effect directly on the unit, then they would get a save. And I'm pretty sure that was willpower, WP on the stat profiles for third edition. The Harvester is going to actually cast Raise summon skeletons. So he's going to summon D3 Undead Horsemen. So he's got 12 magic points. So because he's got 12, that'll automatically pass the test for the casting the spell. Oh, that was the one thing, actually. Let's say you had 6 magic points and you wanted to cast a spell that was worth 3 magic points. Then what would happen is you, instead of needing 6 or below, if your intelligence, which is on the profile of the champions and stuff, INT, if that was above the 6 that you needed, let's say you had level 10, like the Harvester, he's got 9 intelligence, so you'd actually have to roll under 9, not 6 for the magic points. So it was whichever was higher, so it was either magic points or intelligence, whichever was higher, that's what you had to roll under for that spell to take effect. But because he's got 12 magic points off the bat, now this is going to chew up a few of his magic points, because I want to roll two 6-sided dice and then halve them to find out how many undead horsemen I get. That will chew up 6 points. So you can regain magic points, but you have to remain stationary for your entire turn. You can't cast spells, you can't move, you can't do anything. So I'm wondering if I've actually stuffed up a little bit by popping him in the biggest unit that I've got, because that's a lot of magic points straight away. But yeah, if he pulls it off and he gets a few undead horsemen, that could be really good for the undead's cause. But we'll roll that up now. So because it's a 12, because he needs a 12 for magic points, that's okay. He's automatically passed that. Let's have a look to see how many he gets. So we'll take the old dice tower, take 2 normal 6-sided dice. We'll roll them and then halve them, and that'll tell us how many undead horsemen he gets. Now, I do apologise for the undead horsemen. They aren't based yet. A bit slack. I didn't even think about that, but here we go. Let's see how many he gets. So he's got 3, and that'll give 4 undead horsemen, and they have to be deployed within 3 inches of the harvester. So we'll deploy him out to there, straight ahead. So that's 4 undead horsemen. I haven't got a movement tray for these guys either. That's okay. It's only 4 of them, so that's not too bad. I'll put the camera down here so I don't drop it. That would be a disaster. Imagine dropping the bloody camera on the first battle report. That'd be horrible. Just drop the bloody horseman, so better that than the camera, because the camera doesn't tend to bounce as well as what a plastic figure does. Even one from the 80s. So there we go. So there's the undead horsemen. They're a unit of 4 directly in front. Now the problem with these guys is they're going to have to stay within 12 inches of the harvester, otherwise they're going to be out of his zone of control. If they're out of his zone of control, because they don't have a controlling character with them, they will suffer from stupidity. So we'll have to see what happens with that. They're going to have shield and a hand weapon in the horse as well, so that won't affect their movement or anything like that. So the last phase of turn 1 for the undead is the rallying phase, but there is nothing that needs to be rallied. And there's the undead horseman ready to charge in. Oh, I wish I'd based them, but not to worry. Onward and upward we keep going, because I want to get this battle report out. I want to have a game. So we'll be back with after turn 1 for the Norse. So here we are, turn 1 with the Norse. So we've just gone through the movement phase. I've stopped at the shooting phase because I wanted to just show you guys how shooting works in 3rd edition. We'll probably do the magic phase this round as well. Not sure what I'm going to do with the wizard for the Norseman, but we'll soon find out. So the first thing I had to do was roll for Saga Animosity for all the Norse units, and that's a 6-sided dice, and then with any modifiers and anything like that, like if there's a unit directly in front of them they suffer animosity to, then that adds a +1. What else? If the unit's causing animosities of a different race, then yeah, that's another +1. And if there is no enemy in sight, then yeah, that's another +1 as well. And you minus the leader's leadership bonus. So on profiles for 3rd edition, you'll see that it'll have for instance, like Ragnar, the general of the Norse, he has a leadership value of 9 + 2. So what that means is he's got a leadership value of 9. The +2 is that's his leadership modifier that he gives to the unit he's with. So that's minused for the Saga Animosity test, and you roll the 6-sided dice, add those modifiers, take them away, and if it's 5 or below, then there's no animosity that turn. So I rolled for everybody, no animosity that turn. The only ones that would have had animosity are the archers, because the wizard doesn't have a leadership bonus, which is a bit of an oversight on my part. And also the same with The bondsman, I don't think they have a leadership bonus at all either. Yeah, he's a level 5. So, because in the Huskels, I've got another hero. He's got +1, 8 +1, so he's a level 10. But yeah, and the general is level 15. So Ragnar's level 15, so that gives it -2. So, but yeah, the only ones that can fail are this guy and this guy. So, but luckily they didn't. So that's okay. But we're just going to go on to the shooting phase now. So what we've got is we've got 12 Norse archers. Now they're rocking longbows at the moment. Now they've got 30-inch range. Just pop the camera down so I don't drop it. So we'll make sure that they're in range. There's no pre-measuring in 3rd edition too, I might add. So yeah, they're definitely within range. Doesn't really so much at the moment because I'm playing solo, but yeah, now they're outside of half range, so that has modifiers and stuff that does affect your armor save. So they're going to fire all 12 at the newly created horsemen. Need to get rid of those. So what we do is we take the ballistic skill, which is the BS on the profile. Doesn't mean cow poop. It's ballistic skill in 3rd edition, and lots of other editions for Warhammer as well, I might add. But actually, I think they've got to take a fear test for shooting at an opponent that causes fear. Wish to fire missiles at a feared enemy within that creature's charge range. Failure means no shot is fired. So I do have to take a fear test. Nearly forgot about their fear. That's terrible. So let's have a look here. The archers, because they've just got a basic leadership of 7, and the wizard has a leadership of 7. So they would need a 7 or below to be able to fire on the undead horseman. So this is a straight up roll. So we got two 6-sided dice. Need 7 or under. Double ones, that'll do it. So we're shooting. So we've got 12 guys shooting now. I'll just put the camera down while I check the modifiers. So it's not a small target. Firing while moving. They didn't move. They've only just done firing and charging. No. Within fear range of enemy creature. Firing at over half range. They are firing over at half range. Not improvised weapons or anything. So we've got ballistic skill of 3. They will need, usually they'd need a 4, but because it's over half range they need a 5. So we've got 12 goes, and we need 5s to hit. So roll that. So we've got 1, 2, 3 hits. I don't think that's very good, to be quite honest. Well, curse of the dice roll yet again. So I just need to check the toughness real quick of the horseman, because I didn't actually bank on that. I didn't read it properly, and I didn't know I could summon horsemen instead of just normal everyday old troops. But I think they're still toughness is 3. But we'll just double check. Yeah, the toughness is 3, so that's strength 3 on toughness 3. So what we need for that to damage is 5s. Damage chart roll does d6. Weapon strength is 3, and the target's toughness is 3. So you need 5s in 3rd edition. Oh, I'm just going to pick this book up, buggered. Or is it 4s? Nope, it's 4s. Toughness 4, strength 4. No, toughness 3, strength 3 is 4s. 4s to wound. Okay, so we've got 3 hits. So the Norse need 4s to wound. And what do you know, they get 3. That's pretty damn good. So we've got a save now. Saving throw for the Undead Horsemen. So 3 of them have been hit by arrows, or war wasps, or whatever you'd like to call them. And they've got a saving throw of 5, 6. 6 for a shield. Because they're mounted, they get an extra 1, so that takes it to a 5, 6. Now there's no modifier for a longbow. If it was under 15 centimeter, if it was under 15 inches, there'd be a -1 modifier, but there's not for that. So they've got 3 saves of 5, 6. Well, I'll be okay. So 3 have been wounded and 3 have saved. So that's not bad going, actually. So that's the end of the shooting phase for the Norse. Next up is hand-to-hand combat, but there's no charges have been declared or anything. So what we'll do is we'll get on to the reserve movement and the magic phase. I don't think I'm going to cast any magic for the wizard this turn. But yeah, if we do, then that'll be the roundup for this. I'll give you a rundown on what I did at the start of Undead turn 2, just because I'm mindful of how long this is going to run for. But yeah, other than that, finish the rest of the turn. So no hand-to-hand combat, no rallying, but just got reserve and magic to go. So we'll do that, and I'll give you a rundown at the start of Undead turn 2. Okay, so here we are for the roundup of the rest of the Norse turn and turn 2 for the Undead. So the Norse wizard cast a tricky little spell called Wind Blast. He cast that spell. He needed under 10 because of the amount of magic points it is. It costs 2 magic points plus 1 per extra round. He cannot move. If he gets wounded or he moves or casts another spell, then that spell is dispelled. So what that means is he's successfully cast it. His opponent does not get a magic save. I double checked that, and that's why they've got a 10-sided dice next to them, because to move forward they have to roll under their strength. And if they're successful doing that, then they only move at half movement. So that's a nasty little spell. So that's stopped the advance of the Undead for their start of turn 1 all through the reserves phase and everything. So the spearmen just marched forward with their champion. The skeleton warriors with the harvester did a 90-degree turn, then just marched forward. They then did a will in the reserves moves, just to try and get around those horsemen who are now stuck there. And the Grim Reapers, they wheeled around to try and get around that wood. Another interesting little thing is that undead horsemen are actually ethereal, or however you say it. English tonight is not my best subject, but yeah, they can actually move through obstacles and buildings and things without it affecting them. So that's the quick roundup of Undead turn 2, and we'll be back for Norse turn 2 next. Okay, Oldhammerers, so that's the end of Norse turn 2. They have moved forward with the Norse dwarves to the right flank, circling around that wood. Looks like they're going to take on the Grim Reapers there. The Bondi have moved forward. The archers have shot and fired, and they've taken down one skeleton spearman. They didn't fire at the horsemen this turn. I think they've pretty much got them trapped now with that wind spell. So for the magic phase, the wizard is just going to carry that spell on, and the Huskels have moved forward, getting ready to either charge or get charged by the spearmen. So we should have some hand-to-hand combat next turn, and it's starting to take shape. Now the Undead haven't looked for the champion as yet, because I think they thought that they were in pretty good shape to take the Norse out with that spell, summoning undead horsemen. Like, there's no other cavalry on the field, but that wind blast, that was a little bit of a nasty spell. I didn't think that was that good when I rolled it up for the Norse wizard, but yeah. So using it to probably power their ships and also stop the enemy dead in their tracks, so he's done well. But yeah, so that's the end of Norse turn 2. We'll go through Norse Undead turn 3, and yeah, if hand-to-hand combat takes shape, I'll video that so that way I can show you guys how hand-to-hand combat works in Fantasy Battle 3rd edition. But yeah, starting to get there. Okay, so here we are with Undead turn 3. As you can see, the Grim Reapers are still slowly but surely making their way around the corner, so they've had the movement phase. No shooting as yet for the Undead. Yet again, they've only got pistols. This turn, the Undead Horsemen passed their strength test on a D10. They rolled a 1, so that means they can move forward at half. Pretty sure that's how that's going to work for charging and stuff as well. So we'll see how that goes. Movement phase, the Harvesters just moved around the Pit of Skulls a little bit, and the Skeleton Spearmen have made it into combat with the Huskels, but I've just worked out initiative order and weapon skills, and yeah, I think the Undead have bitten off a bit more. Yeah, they've bitten off more than they can chew, to be quite honest. The general for the Norse is quite good, but I want to put the dice tower somewhere so that we can see that, and we'll roll these up, and that way I can explain a little bit how combat works in Fantasy Battle 3rd edition. So for a charge move, you get double your movement, and they were able to make contact and then close the door or the gap or whatever it is to get the maximum amount of models into combat. So they lined up pretty even. Now in the actual rules itself, it does say that you can only attack a model that is directly in front of you. I don't like that rule. I don't think it's that good. So I'll be doing it that you can attack diagonally as well. That just allows for, say, like this unit here of archers. Sorry, if they get charged in the flank, then only one of them will be able to hit. So at least with this way, if they can attack on the diagonal, at least three attacks would be coming in on the flank instead of just one. So because that'd actually suck to pull off a flank charge and then all of a sudden only be able to have one hit and you miss. Yeah, no, don't think so. Sorry about that. So we'll roll up the attacks now. So we have the General Ragnar. He's got weapon skill 5. He also has 3 attacks. So he'll be directing. Well, he'd be mad if he didn't direct every single attack at his opposite number. The Necromancer. Now that I think about it, I think maybe I've underpowered the Undead. I wanted a good close battle, but we'll see what happens. You never know. So we'll see what happens. And so he's got 3 attacks. He's got 5 weapon skill. The weapon skill for Livid is 4. So on our magic table, we'll be looking at, so attackers is 5, his is 4, so we need 4s. He needs 4s to hit, so all 3 attacks will be hitting directly in front. Now, other editions had overkill, so if he was to hit with all these attacks, then he'd kill another, say, 2 troopers, but I'm not doing that. You can only kill what you're in contact with. That's the way I've played it. That's the way that, yeah, I'll probably continue playing it. But so I've got 3 attacks, so he needs 4s if I remember correctly. I guess it's 3 attacks, and I'll need to roll another one because the other one's gone down the back. And he's hit once. Alright, so his strength is 4, and Livid's strength is 3. No. Yep. Toughness 3 for Livid. Oh dear. I was hoping it was a bit better for him for that, because he's got no armor. So he's got one hit on him, so he needs a... Let's see what he needs to do damage. So he's got 4 strength. Magic item. All wounds caused doubled. So this has doubled these wounds. It doesn't matter, he's only got 1 weapon skill anyway. He's only got 1 wound anyway. So strength 4, toughness 3 is a 3. So the general needs a 3. Ragnar needs a 3, and then he will be able to add Livid's scalp to his name in his saga. He's got it. He's killed him. Alright, so the Undead general is dead. Well, that's a bit of a bummer. So, what happens now? So, what happens now is we keep going down through initiative order, and next will be Halvor. Halvor's armed with a spear. He's a level 10, and he has 2 wounds, and he's also got, oh geez, he's got 3 attacks as well. So he'll be hitting with 3 attacks. He's got weapon skill 5 as well, so he needs 4s. On who's he going to attack? He's here, so he can attack these 2. So he'll attack the musician and the normal guy. So he's got weapon skill 5, and they're... Sorry, that was just a thing that was in the way from me checking. So he's got weapon skill 5, and they've got weapon skill 2, so he needs 3s to hit as well. So, and these 2 attacks will be on this guy and this guy. He gets 1 hit. So he's armed with a spear, so there's no modifier for any of that. So they just need a 5/6 to save because of the light armor and shield. So this will be on the guy with the spear. The musician's okay. So 5/6, he saves. Alright, so now we go to the remaining Norse, and we have 1, 2, 3, but because there were spears, half of the rear rank can fight as well. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rounding down. Pretty sure it's rounding down. Yeah, I'm going to go with rounding down. Pretty sure, I vaguely remember that. So we've got 5 attacks. They have 4 weapon skill, and they're versing 2 weapon skill. So 4 weapon skill, 2 weapon skills. They require 4s to hit. Wow. Okay, here we go. We've got 5s, so we need 4s to hit. Oh, that's not bad. That's pretty damn good, actually. So that's... Oh, I didn't even show that. It was 1, 1, and 4 6s. So that's 4 hits. That's damaged them 4 times. Now the Undead have toughness of 3. Yep, toughness 3 versus a strength of 4 from the Huskels. So the Huskels are strength 4 against toughness 3. So strength 4, toughness 3 is a 3s to wound. So I've got four hits. Oh, only one wounds. Wow. Now it's a 5/6 to save. So we'll see how this goes. And they save again. Alright, so now the Undead are hitting back. They don't have any other champions in the unit because their hero's dead. But okay, it was at that moment that he realised that the Norse was supposed to make a fear test for being charged. So we'll roll 2 dice. 9. And the general's leadership is 9, so thank goodness. Thank goodness. Yep, I have to remember that. If they get charged by fear-causing an opponent, then they have to roll a fear test. So now we're going to have the Norse, the Undead fight back. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we'll do this a bit differently. So these two here, the standard bearer and this guy, they're going to attack the little Norseman on the little Huskel on the right as well. Try and take out just a normal guy. So they've got weapon skill 2 against. Oh, this is not good. Weapon skill 2 on ballistic skill. Weapon skill 4. They need 6s. Oh well. Okay. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attacks. 6 attacks. He can hit a normal guy. He can hit the musician. So they can all hit a normal guy. So that's what I'll do. So I've got 6 attacks. So that's 4 at the front, and another 2 rounding down because half the Watsy can attack. So that's 6 all up. So 6 dice. And they're just after normal Norsemen, normal Huskels, and they need 6s. Wow. Alright, so 6s to... Oh, we buggered. They got 1. That's good for them. They get 1, and they are strength 3 on attacking toughness 3. So I'm pretty sure that's a 4, but I'll double check it because it's been a while since I've used these tables. So are they strength 3? Undead skeletal spearmen. Let's see, double check. Yes, they are strength 3. So strength 3, toughness 3, and strength 3, toughness 3. They need 4s. Let's see how they go. Nope, gets a 3. So no wound. So that's the end of the combat. Now what happens here is this is a bit different compared to the other editions of Warhammer. So what happens is, I'll put the camera where we can see. There we go. So what happens here is the combat's finished now, so we do amount of ranks, complete ranks and that. So the Undead have lost. They do not break, but what they do is they will fall back. So what happens is they get pushed back 2 inches. So the Undead get pushed back 2 inches. Now while I've got him back, I can redress the ranks, push him forward because we just got a normal guy that steps into the front rank of the Watsy. You can usually you take casualties and stuff from the rear ranks, but because it was the actual hero, I just took him from that. So as a leader for the unit now, just a normal trooper steps forward, so he's got no bonuses or anything like that. But yeah, so what happens now is The Norse can decide to either hold or follow up. So they're going to follow up. Now that combat was entirely even because of the amount of ranks. The Undead do get +1 for charging. They've also got a banner, so they still lost by 1 because the wound caused, the casualty caused by the Norse. So that's what happens with that. So he's pushed him back 2 inches, followed up 2 inches. Now if the undead were living creatures, what would happen is they would continue to be pushed back until they lost 25% of their starting number. So if the unit was 20 strong and they'd lost 5 in a combat, then you'd roll to see if they break. Now because they cause fear, I'm actually pretty sure that if they were to push back the Norse, they would break them automatically because they cause fear. So we'll have to see. But right now we've got an instability test for the undead. So they roll a d6 to determine the effect. The unit has been not pushed back in combat. So these are the instances you test for instability. So the unit is pushed back in the hand-to-hand, is pushed back in combat. The unit begins its turn within 12 inches of a wizard using a relevant zone spell like Sanctuary or something like that, or a wizard casts a dispel magic at the unit. So you roll a d6 to determine the effect and see what happens, and we'll do that right now. So these are all these really cool little rules that that come up. I probably didn't choose the best 2 armies for doing a first battle report because of all the extra little rules that they've got, like Saga Animosity and Instability and Stupidity and everything like that. But once you get the knack of it, it's not too bad. It's manageable. So we'll just roll this d6 and see what happens for the undead for their instability test. And they've got a 5. So on our little chart. Oh wow. Okay. So instability works both ways. If you roll a 1, 2 or 3, it's usually pretty bad. A 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, they're pretty bad. If you roll a 5 or a 6, the effects are pretty good actually. So the unit may strike an extra round of blows this turn, or may double its movement or fire missiles twice. If it is the enemy's turn, these effects apply during the unit's next turn. So when the hand-to-hand combat kicks off again next turn, the Norse will be having a +1 because I forgot to do the modifiers for bloody hand-to-hand combat, you idiot. Okay, it is 20+ years since I've had a game, but I can't believe I forgot that. But next turn we'll make sure. Well, I didn't apply it for either of them, so excuse me, that could have made a difference for the undead charging in, because they would have had +1 to their dice roll for charging. Idiot. Oh well. Dumb via disco. As we live, we learn. So let's carry on. The rest of the turn now is undead. I don't think they're going to do any more magic. They have a reserve phase before that though, and we should get onto that. Now I'm not sure if the horsemen have to roll again to move in the reserve phase, but I don't think so. I don't think they do. So we'll just move them forward 3.5 inches, because they usually move 7. And yeah, so we'll have a roundup of the magic and the rest of them in the reserve movement phase for the undead at the top of Norse turn 3. So Norse turn 3 has just finished. Couple of things happened. The Norse dwarves kept marching around the hill. Those two are in prime position now to charge each other next turn. The archers still had to do a Saga Animosity test, because there's no enemy unit within 12 inches of them, so they had to roll that. They passed that. They didn't suffer Saga Animosity. The Bondi didn't have to check to see if they had to suffer Saga Animosity because they've got an enemy unit within 12 inches of them. Same for the Huskels, they didn't have to test either because they're in hand-to-hand combat. So what happened was the shooting phase, the Norse archers failed their fear test, so they're not allowed to, they can't shoot. Now I just did some checking as well as I get the rules going again. It's in, if you're going to shoot, it is within the fear zone, so to speak, of a fear causing creature, which turns out to be its charge range. So I didn't have to test for fear the first turn because they were outside they were outside of anyone's charging range. But this turn they had to test to shoot at the horsemen, and they failed their fear test, so they can't shoot. But the wizard can still, he's still going to keep that wind blast spell on them, because hopefully that'll stop them from charging this turn, because the Bondi, they had a perfect opportunity to charge and failed their fear test, so they cannot charge either. Now this combat is heating up. The Norse swung first with their initiative, and they were able to kill 2 skeletons. The skeletons fought back and were able to kill 1 Norseman. So with those effects, I did apply the modifiers this turn. Kicking myself for that. That really affected the undead, I think, because they basically basically had to weather that storm without any bonuses to their dice or anything. So yeah, kicking myself, but not to worry. As like I said before, dum via disco, as we live we learn. So it has been 20 something years since I've played this game, so getting the rules right eventually for all the battle reports is something I'm looking at, and yeah, so more practice the better. But the Huskels were able to push back the skeleton spearmen. They then rolled their instability test, and wouldn't you know it, they rolled a 1, which is the worst you can get, because what happens is for that now, so the unit cannot cause physical damage, but is affected by weapons and magic. As normal, paralysis and chill attacks plus psychological effects still work, so they still cause fear. The effect is permanent. Another test immediately dispels the unit, so they will probably be dispelled this turn, because they're definitely going to get pushed back again, because they don't actually break. I think for undead, I think zombies do. Zombies can break, and so can ghouls, but skeletons do not break from combat. They just keep getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back until there's none left. So it's a real grindhouse with them. But yeah, this so they're going to they'll probably be pushed, get rid of the skeletons this turn, and then it'll be the harvester that'll be hitting them. Now I don't think he's going to actually get a +1 for charging, because he's going to have to do a wheel within 4 inches of the opposite or enemy unit, so this could be interesting. Now the harvester does have the Hand of Death cast on him, as did Livid, but he died before he could use it, and that just means it's a magical spell that allows you to automatically wound for every hit. So we're at skeleton turn 3 now, undead turn 3, and we'll, no, undead turn 4, I believe, turn 4 or 3, I can't remember. I'm editing the videos as I go, so whichever turn it is up to, it'll flash on your screen for the next one. I think it's 4, but we'll see. Well, here we are, Oldhammer fans. Big turn for Undead fans, turn 4. So the end of the Norse last turn, the spearmen disappeared because they suffered from instability and didn't have a controller anymore, and that was the end of them. Huge combat over on the right flank, and what we had was the Grim Reapers attacking the Norse dwarves, and they've broken them, and they're in hot pursuit. So they're just going to keep catching them every turn. So the Norse dwarves are going to be fleeing at 6 inches, and the Grim Reapers are going to be getting hacks on them all the time. So what happened was the combat happened. The champion for the dwarves swung at the champion for the undead, at Joseph Shielman, and missed. The normal dwarves, the Norse dwarves, fought back. They swung at normal skeletons and were able to kill one, but with the undead were able to kill one dwarf, and with them charging and having a better rank bonus than the Norse dwarves, they were able to break them because of their fear test. They automatically cause, if you're broken by a unit that causes fear, if you're beaten by a unit that causes fear, you're automatically routed. So they routed behind the tree. I didn't actually do a break test then and there for the Bondi because they were out of line of sight, so they couldn't see them. They couldn't see that happen. It's 12 inches for breaking line, like for line of sight and everything like that. But when they followed up and hit them again, they get another 3 hack, and I deemed that as the GM as that they couldn't see them originally when they first broke, but all of a sudden you're seeing all these skeletons chase down your allies and they're just putting them to the side. So I deemed that as enough to do a panic check, and well, of course they failed and ran backwards. Now the archers, they didn't have to take a break test originally but they will at the start of Norse turn 4 due to a routed unit being 4 inches away, so that's what they have to do straight up. The harvester just straightened himself up, so here I was thinking it was a foregone conclusion and it was going to be a quite an easy Norse victory, but yeah, the undead have managed to pull it back kicking and screaming because of fear. The Norse right flank has totally collapsed, and yeah, the undead have really gone to town with that. But Norse turn 4, that will be quite interesting to see whether the archers hold. The Huskers will definitely be charging into the skeletons, so we'll see what happens there. I just wanted to put out too is that I'm reading this right, that even if you pass your fear test, you've still got -1 to the dice roll because the opponent causes fear. I think I'm reading that right. So the Huskers would have +1 for charging, but -1 because they're attacking a fear-causing enemy, even if they pass their fear test. So I just want to put that out to everybody. I am relearning the rules again. I just wanted to get a battle report out. So, but yeah, we'll just put that out. Just whack it in the comments for any other rules that I might have gotten wrong as well. Just pop that down there. I don't mind criticism for sure. Bring it on. That's how we get better. So, but so we'll be back with Norse turn 4. This will be very interesting. See what happens this turn. These dwarves I think they've pretty much had it. They're only going to be able to go 6 inches, and they can charge 7. So yeah, every single turn they're just going to get free hacked, free hack, free hack. So it's gonna be gruesome. Little arms and legs in a line as they try to flee. But it's these Bondi. If they can get the Bondi to reform, then yeah, hopefully they should still have a chance. But yeah, that all hinges down on as well. If the Norse can kill the general, holy moly, that opens up a whole different kettle of fish. So yeah, these next few turns are going to be really, really important, making for a good battle. We'll be back with Norse turn 4. Well, hello Oldhammers. That's the end of Norse turn 4, and it's a big one. Basically, everything has fallen apart for the Norse. The Bondi ran back. They failed to rally. The archers have failed to rally. The Norse dwarves were caught with the three hacks that they get. That they were then put out of their misery. The biggest thing was the combat of the generals. So Ragnar swung 3 times at the harvester and missed. I even remembered to apply modifiers, and yeah, he missed every single attack, every single one. And then his offsider, Halvor, on the Haskell, he had a swing as well, and same thing, missed. The normal Norse soldiers, they then had 5 attacks back, so that's 3 in the front rank and 2 in the back, because with spears you get to have half the unit fighting. Wondering if that's actually rounding up. I'll double check that and look into it for next time. But they hit 1, and the skeleton saved. He rolled a 6 and saved his armor. So the skeletons then fought back. The harvester, he managed to kill 1 normal guy, and the 3 remaining skeletons. No, the 4 remaining skeletons, because they're 5 wide. They managed to kill another Haskell, and lo and behold, that made the combat tally 5 to the Norse and 6 to the Undead. So the Norse are broken. They are broken now and in full retreat. They are not going to be able to get away from the Undead, because the Undead are moving at a healthy 3.5, the same as the Huskarls. So they will eventually just chip them down, because there's nobody to save them. On the rally phase, the Bondi failed to rally, and so did the archers. So they've all fled. Nobody is able to rally, so they will flee next turn. So I'm actually going to call the battle report here now, and instead of dragging it out for everyone with them getting chased, and that spell's gone now, so the horsemen will be able to wheel around and get stuck into the general, to Ragnar's unit as well. So, but yeah, first battle report, and it all stemmed down to Joseph Steelman and his breaking of the Norse dwarves. And when they broke, the Bondi broke, then the archers broke, and then just a woeful hand-to-hand combat round for Ragnar and his men, Halvar and the Huskarls. So yeah, sad. But fear played a part in the end, And once I started applying those modifiers, fear's quite a horrible animal. But that's the first battle report. So yeah, we'll come back with afterthoughts and things that I'd do differently. See you soon.
So hello, Oldhammerers. That's the end of the first battle report. Um, it was good to actually get back into a game and play a game after 20 plus years. So yeah, showing me age there, going salt and pepper on the beard as well. But yeah, things I would have done differently. I probably would have used the Norse archers a bit different. They didn't really do much. The wizard was the same. He only had that spell at the start, the wind blast spell, which did okay. I probably would have held back a bit more with the Norse as well. I was quite lucky with the Norse as well that the Saga Animosity didn't have more to do. It just kept passing, and it was didn't have a problem with it. It's just hitting in combat that I had a problem with the Norse. The Undead, once you start applying those modifiers and things for like fear and that, then yeah, they are a nasty army. Um, one failed test can just collapse an entire flank, as we saw. But yeah, it was really good to get a battle report out there for third edition. Really happy about that. Um, yeah, things I'd do differently. I don't know if I'd record it any differently and just do roundups again. It'd be total different kettle of fish if I was playing against an opponent and then they could hold the camera and then I could hold the camera, and yeah, you could get every single detail into the battle report. But yeah, being a one-man show, I think that's heaps better. I started recording this battle report at I think it was around about 6 o'clock or something, because I got off the phone to my friend. I think it was about 6 o'clock, and it's now 11:20. So yeah, I've been recording and rolling and playing for nearly 5 hours, 5 and a bit hours, but it was worth it. It was so cool. It was very cool to actually play again. I really loved it. So I cannot wait for the next one. Um, might even chuck these guys against each other again. I'm busily finishing off the Beastmen as well, and planning an Empire army. Now, the Empire army I'll probably be using Perry's. I think either Perry's or Warlord Games. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, I do like the look of the Perrys, and I do like the look of the Warlord game, so that's a bit of a bummer. But I can I did see the other day some comparisons between with Perry's and Warlord games, and they fit in quite well. So quite happy with that. Yeah, not everybody likes the fourth and fifth edition look of the Empire. I don't mind it. In the Warhammer Armies fantasy, when Warhammer Armies third edition book, they're more sort of like Swiss, so around 1450, 50s around there, where you've got your Bretonians that are more sort of like 100 Years War, French. Yeah, so wars of religion for empire, so around 1450 with Italians and German house troops and things like that. So just want to make sure that I talk a little bit louder, because during editing I noticed that the speaker has got a weird buzzing noise to it, so I don't know how to fix that. I don't know if that's my phone or my camera, I'm not sure, but we'll get that sorted out for the next one. Down the track, yeah, definitely Mighty Empires campaign, and I was having a look at Warhammer Siege. I got asked the question about Warhammer Siege, and definitely want to do a siege battle for the channel, just because it looks awesome. Basically, there was a whole different kettle of fish back then, but I want to get two armies that are up a little bit in points value wise. 1,000 points is, yeah, it's not really that much fun. But I've even had a look at I had a look at the back of the Siege book, and they did have like an introductory scenario for Siege in there, and it was Orcs versus Dwarves, and you can't go wrong with that. And they're two armies that I want to collect, so um, I did notice that, and I thought, oh, well, that'd be cool. Imagine doing the introductory scenario for Warhammer Siege on the channel. That'd be cool. I definitely want to get more battle reports out there, get more armies up to different sizes and that. I did notice that Proxy Models put out another battle report today. I think it's 6,000 points aside. Oh, that's awesome. I am going to watch that. Cheers for him that as well. That sort of inspired. He did inspire me to start this whole channel and go down this road. So, but looking forward to the next battle report. Just want to thank everyone for watching. It's been a wild ride to the first battle report, but leave comments please and let me know how I can make it better. If you like this format, if you don't, but just let me know, and we'll keep climbing that Oldhammer mountain and stay cool, stay Oldhammer.